What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa. Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And we are here talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, better known as the best franchise of all of the housewives that are currently airing on television.
The best of the best.
That's all we do over here. This is Season 5, Episode 13, Rooms for Improvement.
Because I get it. There's rooms that have been assigned.
They're being really dramatic by saying they've assigned the rooms. I have thoughts on that.
I guess, yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to that part here.
But of course they're being dramatic.
Well, that's kind of the
this
point.
This is Housewives.
It would be very boring if they weren't being dramatic. I need them to be overly dramatic.
This episode, again, a banger. How is everyone better than the last?
They just keep finding new ways to deliver. But also, at the same time, I keep changing my stance on how I feel about everyone in the cast.
I think that's good, though.
It is good, and it keeps it interesting. But I don't know how they're able to do this, given that the scenario hasn't really changed too drastically between episode to episode.
And they're already talking about what the reunion is going to be like. They filmed it over the weekend or something, and it sounds like where the relationships end up are even a totally different place than where we're currently at. So there are more twists and turns to come.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had a little bit of Ryan's Irish cream before we recorded this, so I am a little tipsy. Just full disclosure. So we're all on the same page.
Does that mean that your recollection may not be accurate?
Maybe, yeah.
All right. I will bring the facts, as Lisa Barlow so demanded.
Yeah. We don't want lies. We only want facts. But the Bravo description for this one is Angie feels slighted after Meredith's bat mitzvah. Bronwyn and Lisa have a falling out over room assignments. Mary chooses to stay in Salt Lake City as issues with Robert Jr. come to a head.
Not really?
We didn't really get any of that storyline, if there was any of that.
And she missed the first night of the trip. It looks like she's there next week.
Yeah, she catches up with everyone, which, thank God, that's good. We're at least going to get some content of Mary Cosby on this trip. But I know there's a Carly episode rewrite description for this one here as well.
Of course there is. I'm having more fun every week writing these. Bronwyn hijacks Lisa's first-class girls trip. Brittany's high body count hair is tamed. Meredith returns Angie's bat mitzvah gift. The women talk, in fact, about the slut-shaming incident.
I have plenty of thoughts for this whole episode. And then now, with a little bit of Irish cream in me, that's what she said, there's probably going to be some more thoughts along the way.
Great. Well, here we go. We start off, and of course, everybody is talking shit about what happened at the bat mitzvah. We're here with Meredith. She is still working on these bath bombs.
She's working through those tortilla chips on the counter, too. So that's something very relatable for me.
I thought they were Doritos.
It's my go-to snack.
I'm going to be really disappointed if they are not Doritos, although I don't think that having orange fingers is encouraged.
Oh, well, it's definitely.
Parks home.
No, I can say for a fact it is not the nacho cheese Doritos.
Maybe
Absolutely
I just really
not.
wanted Doritos.
Maybe it looked like Cool Ranch, but I will say our TV, I think we were able to tell there wasn't the Cool Ranch seasonings that you see spritzed along there. So I don't think so.
All right, debunked.
I would say very confidently those were not Doritos. I believe it was just corn tortilla chips. Classic.
She's still very upset about what happened at her bat mitzvah. It was a sacred religious event, and Angie was in there slut shaming, which she kind of was. But Meredith doesn't have the whole story.
Yeah, she was hearing most of this, and she was taking a lot of what Britani was saying as fact outright.
If there's one thing we know about Meredith, it's that she will run with anyone's story if it means the person she already is holding a grudge against is at fault in that story.
Yeah, she's down with that. She's totally on board to just pile on with that. She won't abide the slut shaming, though.
She was triggered by it, but she won't say why. And you know what it was. Do you remember? We got to rewind back a couple seasons. They won't show us the footage again for some reason. Because of Lisa's hot mic moment where she was talking about how Meredith has slept with half of New York.
The biggest slut.
So she herself has been slut shamed on this show.
It's very damaging. Long term.
But things are good between her and Lisa now, so she won't bring it up. God forbid she say those words and bring back that fight.
Yeah, we don't want to rehash any of that.
Over at Angie's house, she lives in a totally different reality. Something completely different happened at the bat mitzvah.
She was kicked out abruptly with no warning.
She's so confused. Why would she make me leave this event? I was there to attend, to support her. We were having a lovely time, and all of a sudden I just got kicked out by security.
I had all the best intentions. I was there with nothing, no contempt in my heart for Meredith.
And why would she invite me anyway? Isn't that kind of weird?
If she doesn't like me and we're not friends, then why did she invite me anyway? She must have been desperate to fill that attendee list, I suppose. She just had to drop in whatever name she could find.
So they're obviously gearing us up to have a fight between the two of them. And they're about to go on a girls' trip. So chances are there's going to be a blow up.
I thought this was a missed opportunity for Angie because at the moment when she was saying that she hasn't stopped crying since she was kicked out of the bat mitzvah, I was waiting for her to say, of course not. Absolutely, I have not shed a single fucking tear.
You wanted her to make
Yes.
it clear that that was sarcasm.
I wanted her to flip and
No,
show.
she was dead serious.
She was playing it up. She's drumming this up now to an extent that it becomes too obvious. And I think that's Angie's biggest flaw right now, is that she does take things to an extreme level, but then it becomes too apparent that she's going over the top intentionally.
Okay, but is it weird that I started out this season really turned off by Angie because of the scroll and how she walked in there with a plan?
But that was forced. That was too over the top, and it was obviously too over the top.
I agree with that. But I am enjoying all of the moments that we have had in the last few episodes with her, even though I agree that they're still very intentionally staged by her, or that she's really drumming up how she's feeling about things.
Well, even like she threw the napkin, like she was calling a penalty on a play in the NFL. And it's just, you're not a referee. Okay. So just don't do that. You don't need to do those types of things that are just, it's overtly signaling that you're going way over the top.
Well, and you can't simultaneously be part of the fight and be refereeing the fight.
That is my biggest issue that I have with the franchise right now. And I have notes about that for later.
All right. Do you want to get into it?
It'll be
We'll save it.
It'll be for, it's one of the fights. I almost said in Cabo, but it's not Cabo. Puerto Vallarta.
We'll let it marinate.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But first, we got to go check on Mary. Or Mary's got to check on Angie. I'm not sure exactly what the intention was here. Why do the front doors to Angie's house look like it's a storefront? Like, does she live in her salon? It literally had the lock on the door. Like, I was like, there's definitely a top lock.
Yeah. She is a key holding manager at her home, I would assume.
You know, you definitely have to open the door, and then there's the second set of locks that are on the inside of the door.
I'm trying to think of what store it reminds me of. Why is Urban Outfitters coming to mind? Do they have big glass doors like that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The Gap.
Oh, yeah. The Gap did
It's
have
definitely the door at the Gap.
glass doors. The whole front wall
The Banana
of a Gap.
Republic.
Yeah. Old Navy. Lots of Old Navy.
It's giving outlet center. I'm always confused when they film in her house because I cannot believe that that's the front door.
Yeah, and people who live in glass houses really should be more careful. Angie, specifically. Why are they drinking champagne so often? This seems to be a problem, because then they're flashing back to like a week ago where they also had champagne. And for Mary to be such a connoisseur of champagne, I feel like she should know how to open a bottle of champagne.
She has the help to do that.
I guess so.
Or at least she thinks she does.
Well, Angie's going to be the help today.
Yeah, they're buying a lot of screw-off caps. When they film, they buy the nice champagne.
I think it's time to shift to some Miller High Life where we can get some twist-offs. The champagne of beers.
Well, that's why Mary doesn't remember how to open a champagne bottle anymore. She's on the Miller Life.
She must be.
You skipped over the best part, though, which was Mary letting herself in.
Oh, yes. She just, well, I mean, I wouldn't say snuck in.
Should there have been a bell on the door?
Because she just walked in.
Like a store door. Should the door have rung when she opened it?
Like a 7-Eleven, the ding dong.
needed to alert Angie that somebody was here.
Because she
There's
didn't
somebody
know.
in the front.
But how bad is Angie's peripheral vision then, where she didn't see Mary Cosby on the couch or the camera person who's in front of Mary Cosby?
I wouldn't have either, because I would have been looking at that amazing charcuterie board that she built.
Which Mary has no intention of eating at all.
What a fucking waste.
The charcuterie board that will go to waste. She had like 18 pairs of tongs on those, though.
No cross-contamination.
Did you see all the tongs?
I think that she knew that Mary wouldn't eat anything off of it unless there was a plethora of tongs available.
Yeah, and at that point, you just need to just fully designate and say, Mary, these are your tongs that you can grab whatever you need to grab.
I kind of get why she wasn't hungry, though, because the conversation takes a turn. Did they talk about what happened with the bat mitzvah?
No, not at all.
No,
they went right into
over that.
Yeah, well, I mean, because Angie's been waiting for this conversation. This is Mary Cosby's been carrying something personal here that's been weighing on her, and she hasn't shared that with anyone. So she is going out of her way to share this information specifically with Angie, that Robert Jr. has a drug problem and that we're trying to battle this addiction now.
I felt really bad for Mary. She made me tear up, and that's hard to do.
So the last time that this was brought up in the conversation between Mary and Robert Jr., I felt it did get a little seventh heaven of how could you do this to me sort of approach in the conversation, where I feel like Mary did a much better job this time around of making it more. I mean, there were still little glimpses of like it was all about her, which was odd because then she was complaining about how her mom always made everything about her.
I don't know that she was making it about herself. I felt like she was questioning her decisions as a parent and if that has led him somehow down this path.
Yeah, and I feel like even on the last conversation directly with Robert Jr., it was more of that. It was the how could you do this to me? Can you imagine what this would do to me? And it was a lot of things from her perspective, from her point of view, which I feel like there wasn't as much of that, which was good.
You know, I think it's interesting because two different people could watch that and get something different from it. Whereas I could see the flip perspective of it, where Mary was trying to explain to Robert Jr. how important he is to her. But that can come across as her only thinking about herself and how his actions impact her.
It's the ways that she was bringing it up and expressing how the importance to her. It was kind of a weirder connection point, I think, from that perspective. But that was just my personal take on it.
All right. I think it depends on where you're coming from when you're listening to it. I mean, we don't know what Robert Jr. took away from it. But we do know that Mary's willing to do everything she possibly can to get him help now.
Yes, and that is great. That's great to see.
And Angie, of all people, was the correct person to have this conversation with, because not only does she genuinely seem to be friends with Mary Cosby, but she also has her own experience with addiction, with her mother being an alcoholic. So she did have things to talk about to Mary in that this could happen to anyone, first of all. So stop trying to blame yourself or figure out or pinpoint exactly what went, quote unquote, wrong. and that addiction's a disease.
I guess it's time will tell if Angie is the right person for Mary to bring this up to, because as soon as they went into the pinky promise matter of the fact that Mary was confiding in Angie, I thought to myself, uh-oh, she's going to spill the beans on this. She's going to mess this up.
I know you don't have high hopes for Angie doing right by Mary.
I am worried that Angie might take this as this is something to tout potentially of information that she has.
Oh,
I hope she doesn't.
I could see it even being just accidentally spilling the beans, and that would be a real problem for Mary.
Oh, yeah, this is very personal. And the fact that she's confiding in you, because I think the only thing that I'm going to love more than the unexpected pairing of Mary Cosby and Angie is going to be when they ultimately turn on each other. And then there is a direct rivalry and they have to battle it out and duke it out.
And Mary Cosby's coming out on top of that fight.
Absolutely.
I'm placing my money on her.
Every time. Every time.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Everyone's heading to the airport. I was surprised that nobody made a comment about the fact that they were flying commercial.
Yes, but first class, though. So that's where Lisa has to make the exception to the rule. You can fly commercial as long as you're flying first class.
She could have been petty and gotten Bronwyn a coach seat.
Yeah, very much so.
I feel like I would have.
I'm sorry, because wasn't there, am I mistaken here? There was a mention of Lisa saying that, she didn't book a private jet for them because she was paying for a London trip that her and her husband were going to take this summer. Wasn't there mention of Bronwyn and Todd going to London at some point too, or some other trip that they were going to be taking?
I think you're right.
That feels vaguely familiar
Whatever,
now.
budgeting queens. It's
so,
okay.
Yeah, I think that must be another part of this, is that we're going commercial. But even though we're going first class, Lisa is still able to budget for that London trip with her and John this summer. So that'll be good.
Things are obviously kind of weird between everyone. We've got Angie and Britani, who seem okay, even though they should be the ones who are most at odds coming out of the bat mitzvah.
It's because Britney's hair looks a little bit better this week.
It does. I do think that she got the Kerastas.
I think she took advice. Yeah, I think Lisa did have some pointers for her, and she did take those to heart. Her hair looks better this week. I don't know what to tell you.
Angie complimented it. Was it genuine? I'm not sure.
It could have been a dig or a chance at starting something.
But her hair did genuinely look better.
It did. Yeah, I will agree with that.
Then we've got Meredith and Angie not talking, somehow coming out of the party. That is the bigger issue.
There was the forceful removal of the party. So, I mean, that did cause a rift in their relationship here. They're not really on speaking terms. They're just kind of glossing over it, though. They're not addressing it directly.
Before they even board the plane, there's a problem.
Bronwyn is making waves before the flight.
I did not like that she did this. They get inside the airport and she pulls out gifts that she has for everyone. She has these Swarovski crystal passport holders, I'm going to assume.
Is it Swarovski? Is it?
I always say it wrong
Swarovski?
Because I am not a cultured bitch.
Oh, boy.
Okay?
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to call you out. It's just
I feel like you were.
No, there's a lot of...
But thank you, because otherwise we would get reviews about it.
Okay, well, that, and then also there's a lot of words where then they're spelled a certain way, and then if I would say them the way that I think they should sound, they wouldn't sound like the way that people say them a lot of the time.
I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
I will admit that. Bronwyn will probably not admit that this was a fucked up thing to do.
No. Okay, the problem that I have is that Bronwyn went out of her way.
This isn't your trip.
This isn't Bronwyn's trip. She went out of her way to put together these gifts. Then she asked Lisa for permission if it's okay to give these gifts because it's Lisa's trip. So she was trying to clear it with Lisa. And Lisa was basically saying, yeah, no, don't do that. Just...
I got gifts for everyone. We're good. We're
it's
covered.
Under control. You don't need to worry about it. I just want you here as a participant, and that's all that we need. And then Bronwyn went out of her way to continue on and just completely ignore Lisa's request of, yeah, don't do that. And so I don't know if it was just because she already placed the order. She already had this stuff. I don't know why she would have this many.
This is Housewives. You are 1,000% going on another trip at some point. Save them for next time.
Yeah. You didn't need to clear it with Lisa. Just let it go. Either bring it up without asking for permission. If you're asking for permission first and then Lisa's telling you don't, and then you do it, that's a problem. And that's on you.
Well, that's going to create more of an issue because you're not going to be able to say you didn't know that it was going to be a problem.
If you just brought them, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Misstep.
Absolutely. This puts her in the wrong. That you asked for permission and then you're ignoring the advice from Lisa.
That is a Lisa Barlow move, though.
I think that's why she didn't get outright completely upset with it.
I think she liked it. I think she liked the gift.
When she saw the gift, she was like, oh, yeah, no, these are cool. I'm kind of down with this.
I won't say anything in the moment, but I'll definitely bring it up later.
Oh, I'm going to remember this for future arguments. Absolutely.
Maybe it was an apology, though, for everyone having to look at her heinous dog bites the entire weekend.
Oh, yeah. To be mauled by a mysterious dog park assailant when we know for a fact that her dog has a criminal background. This calls a couple of things into question for us.
The minute she showed us those bites, I said, that's a boxer bite. That's your fucking dog. Your dog mauled you. And like you said, this dog, criminal record. We know that she has a pack. She has 6 dogs in total.
I think legally you can call it a pack at that point. Yeah.
And there have been multiple lawsuits that they have faced for one or more of these dogs attacking people. From what I saw, there was a lawsuit in 2018, and it involved a dog handler who got attacked, and another one in 2022 from someone who was dropping off food. I don't believe that your dogs have a history of biting other people and they didn't bite you.
You feel like Bronwyn's covering up?
I think she's covering for the dogs. And I got to tell you, it upsets me because I have been bit by a dog and I would not want to go to her house. And I'm thinking of Heather, and Heather sitting on the couch with those dogs that are wearing sweaters, looking all innocent.
Pooping and peeing in every single room of the house.
When they're bloodthirsty, clearly. At least one of them is.
And she didn't even have her full turtleneck to keep her fully protected, like the one that she wore to Mary Cosby's Breakfast at Tiffany's event.
She's wearing them around the house now.
She has
She's got to be.
Self-defense.
Man, she really is bruised up.
And not just on the leg, because they showed us the leg and I was like, wow, that's bad. And then they continued to show us more.
Because it went up her arm.
All over her arm?
It was a brutal attack.
It's a big problem. I just thought it was odd to have someone who was negligent at a dog park. We didn't have that person's contact information. We didn't find out anything about them. We didn't jot down a license plate number because they were taking a phone call in a car. It sounds a little fishy. Sounds like it's in question. Something to investigate, maybe.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. So they end up flying commercial. They fly first class. They're greeted with margaritas, which, I mean, I don't think it gets much better than that.
Do you think it was Vita Tequila?
Absolutely, it was Vita Tequila.
At the airport?
I'm surprised that they're not doing a tour of the Vita Tequila factory.
I'm sure they will.
They will. Give it a couple days.
There's no way they're going this whole trip to Mexico and they're not going to talk about her tequila brand.
They already did once for the happy hour here. But we are rolling up to Vedanta.
I liked this place.
This looks nice. It was Hola Mi Bambinos. This was top notch, real nice.
I was tempted to look the place up, but I know that I will be devastated when I find out the prices, so I'm not going to do that. Especially the villas.
Do you think it's all inclusive?
No.
Oh, boy. See, I got to do an all inclusive. If I'm going to go all out like that, I don't want to have to be worrying about what my drinks are going to cost, too.
I want to carry a wallet around to the pool.
On top of that, yeah, forget it.
There's one problem with this place, though, which is that they didn't have a villa large enough for everyone to stay in. So instead, Lisa got 2.
So there are 2 villas, and then there are 4 bedrooms per villa. So there's a little bit of math to do here. But we have to divvy up the group. And so Lisa, in her wisdom, infinite wisdom, I would argue, places Meredith, Heather, Lisa, and Britani in one villa. And then she has Angie, Bronwyn, Whitney, and eventually Mary, maybe if she shows up, which next week she does show up. So that's the other villa.
She keeps stressing that they're identical. This is the exact same house. We just have 2 of them.
My only question is, do you think at this point, did Lisa realize that she forgot to invite Maylee?
No, I'm pretty sure Bravo said you are not allowed to invite Maylee.
No, she is not worth the ticket. You will not be bringing her.
Also, then we have an uneven number.
And that's not going to work. So yeah, get out of here with that shit.
Bronwyn's pissed.
I think I understand Lisa's mentality on the way that she divvied stuff up. Bronwyn taking this as a personal snub and an attack from Lisa, I feel like that was overreaching, though. I think she's a little sensitive.
I feel like you're forgetting where Bronwyn is at with the people who are staying in her villa. I know it's been a couple episodes. There have been a few fights in between. But Angie and Whitney are not exactly her biggest fans.
No, I get that. Well, it's because Bronwyn was doing some stupid shit trying to throw them under the bus. But here's the thing. Bronwyn's kind of on the outs with a lot of people. She wouldn't get along with Heather or Britani either. So if she was in that villa, anywhere you drop Bronwyn, there's going to be a problem with 2 people.
I do think you could have swapped her with Heather. Then it would be Meredith, Lisa, Britani, and Bronwyn. I don't think that there's that big of a problem between Britani and Bronwyn.
Yeah, I mean, because Bronwyn threw Britani under the bus, but Britani thought they were BFFs for like 2 seconds. And I'm sure even if that were the case, if Bronwyn was nice to Britani for about 2 seconds here in the villa, Britani would forget about it anyway. So that would probably work on a surface level, but then that would put Heather away from Meredith. And
yeah, but she'd be with Whitney.
With Whitney, yeah, I guess.
Come on, it was a little bit of a snub.
I mean, there's no bigger insult than Lisa choosing Britani over you.
That's the bigger problem.
In any situation, any circumstance that you can imagine.
And Britani does not understand that she is just a chess piece in this game.
No, but she loves the fact that she's close to the queen. Yes, she's feeling all of the benefits of this favor that she's having. And that's all that matters, really, in Britani's mind, I think.
It is unfortunate that Bronwyn and Angie are both in the same villa because they are on the outs. They're both on thin ice. Meredith is ready to come for Angie, and Lisa's ready to come for Bronwyn.
So Angie and Whitney have to talk to Bronwyn, and they're kind of talking about Lisa as part of that too, because this is where Bronwyn is figuring out, I guess, my standing with Lisa is not so good.
Wasn't it a little insulting to complain to people who already aren't huge fans of you that you don't want to be bunking with them?
I mean, that was weird in and of itself. And then there's also the side of it where I think Whitney was still trying to make that case of, yes, this was what we were talking about when we were warning you about Lisa. This is kind of one of those examples. And so then for you to then complain to us about how you're surprised that Lisa's acting like this, we told you that Lisa would act like this. So why are you surprised? Stop being surprised and start expecting this.
I don't even know if she's surprised. I think she just really wants to get into the other villa.
I don't know if that's it. Because then even if there were offerings for that, I feel like she would have tried to jump at that opportunity if available.
Well, Britani was making it very clear that she is not moving. And she's definitely the one that she would want to swap rooms with.
I mean, Heather would be the only other alternative there. And then
she said nothing.
Yeah, she wasn't going to weigh in on that, I don't think.
Well, it also just seems really juvenile to have to move your room so that Bronwyn can be with her old bestie. She was so indignant on her trip where she was talking about how she's not going to suck Lisa's dick. But here she is. And it feels to me like she wants to suck Lisa's dick to be able to hang out with her again.
She was trying to say that she's going to have to flip it where then Lisa's going to have to suck her dick. But I don't think that's what's going on here. I don't think that's the play. I think she has been groveling to Lisa this whole time.
That's where we're at as we lead up to dinner. The only other little surprise we got is that Meredith has packed something very important. She's repackaged it somehow. I'm not exactly sure what Angie gifted this in, but it's now in a Brooks Marks branded bag, which is very hard to say.
Yeah, that's tough.
And lo and behold, her bat mitzvah gift, a bottle of Kerastase shampoo and conditioner.
Which Meredith was claiming that Angie was saying that it was a thoughtful gift, but it's not a thoughtful gift because it has sulfate in it. And Meredith can't use shampoo with sulfate in it because she has keratin in her hair. She has a whole treatment. So if you don't even know what's going on with her hair care routine, I don't think it's a thoughtful gift, arguably.
I would be kind of upset if somebody gifted me shampoo and conditioner.
When you work at a salon, because you basically just finished out a shift.
You just took it off the shelf.
And you grabbed whatever you had there, and it was like, I guess this will do. She did have a journal in there as well. Not a junk journal like Robin would gift Mary.
So this was a pairing to a gift. Was there a check? Just give people money. Stop giving journals that nobody wants. Don't give shampoo and conditioner. How about you give that to someone for free when they stop by the salon to get their hair done?
A whole bottle?
That is apparently Meredith's scroll moment that she has cooked up.
Yeah, she's bringing the petty this trip because this is in Mexico.
She packed those bottles.
She took those through customs to bring this here.
It's a lot of effort.
To return that to Angie. So then Angie's then going to have to pack this into her suitcase to bring it back to the U.S.
Checkmate. Maybe that is the best way to get back at somebody, to make them have to fly with more than 3 ounces of liquid.
Internationally. Yikes.
Full-sized bottles.
But we're just in time for the Tequila Vita happy hour.
As soon as Britani announced that she had something to share with the group, I just sighed.
I thought it was going to be more dating updates, but it ended up being a mommy-daughter sort of announcement.
It was
instead.
Even more boring than her dating updates.
Worse, yeah, I would say.
I kind of forgot the entire story about how her kids hate her.
I mean, I didn't because, again, I think we all get it.
You're seeing the evidence of why.
We got it. Yeah, we're on the same page.
I guess one of her daughters came over and decided to stay the night, so that's some big progress in the realm of their relationship.
She's very impressed with this. Yeah.
No one else is.
Nobody else cares, though. You know what bothered me, though, was that she was saying that nobody said anything. But that's not true. Meredith was feigning so much interest in this topic, and you didn't give her a single ounce of credit for any of the work that she was doing. She was working overtime trying to make you believe that she cared about your stupid little announcement.
That's a friend.
It's something at this point.
She can't be passing up friends in this group.
Few and far between for Britani.
To get people excited about Boost Mobile's new nationwide 5G network, we're offering unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month.
Forever.
Even if you have a baby.
Even if your baby has a baby.
Even if you grow old and wrinkly and you start repeating yourself.
Even if you start repeating yourself.
Even if you're on your deathbed and you need to make one last call.
Or text.
Right, or text the long-lost son you abandoned at birth.
You'll still get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile.
Forever!
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Forever.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Let's get to the real conflict here. Bronwyn immediately starts complaining about the situation with the villas.
A lot of people love the suites. They're vocalizing how beautiful the estate is and how wonderful their rooms are. But Bronwyn is not going to miss an opportunity to kind of shit on it a little bit here. To just let you know, hey, I'm not on speaking terms with Whitney and Angie. Think it's kind of weird that I would have to bunk with them.
I found it weird that she brought that up in front of the entire group.
When Whitney and Angie are sitting right there.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing that you pull Lisa aside and say, hey, I just want to make sure we're good because this seems like an indication that maybe we're not. She kept complaining too about the physical pain that she was in.
From all of the vicious dog bites, yes.
And I guess somehow sleeping in the same villa as Lisa would relieve some of that pain.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work necessarily, but I mean, moral support, I guess it's very big, very important for the healing process.
The funniest part of the whole thing is how Britani was trying to back Lisa in the entire argument.
Because, of course, she loves to be sidled up with Lisa. It's Lisa's trip. She's getting more screen time. This is all working out in Britney's favor. Everything's coming up Britney this trip.
She did that last episode when Bronwyn pretended to be her friend for 15 minutes.
Yeah, where she sidled up and grabbed her by the arm and was there to defend her.
I was really anti-Britney, but now I feel like it's just comical if she's going to do that in every argument that takes place, that whoever is most recently nice to her, she will back without question.
Well, here's the thing. She's an idiot, but she can be a useful idiot. And I think that's what people know about her in this friend group now. But Bronwyn's trying to get to the deeper root of this. It's not an issue with the room. She's not complaining about the accommodations necessarily. She's complaining about the friendship between Bronwyn and Lisa. That is what she's calling into question here, because it's not a big deal that they're in these separate room assignments, even though normally on these sorts of trips, they would have people pick their own rooms. So it was strange to give out room assignments from the start.
So many people are upset with each other, though, that you can't let them pick where they're going to be.
I feel like that's the best time to let people pick where they're going to be, because then it's not on me. You guys ended up where you ended up.
Lisa Barlow has worked so hard to plan meticulously this perfect, beautiful trip. Why are you complaining about it? We just got here.
Countless PowerPoint presentations have been created to make sure that you have only the best accommodations available to you.
I love how much she's gassing up her own trip. Just for her own personal benefit, that she throws the best trips.
So much work has been put into this. This is a full-time job at this point.
I felt like Bronwyn was reading into a lot of the things that Lisa said. And I do think it's unfair that she then says to Lisa, you said this, even though Lisa never used those words.
That's where it gets kind of tricky here, because then we kind of have an argument of who was ungrateful first, because it kind of points back to Bronwyn in her trip when she booked everybody coach flights home, and Lisa was upset about that. So to say that Lisa was ungrateful, I don't think Lisa was ungrateful as part of that trip. I think she was upset with the situation that she was forced into because she didn't have a decision to be made and she didn't have a say in that process. You were just placing her in a circumstance that she didn't want to be in.
You put her in a seat that she didn't want to be in, and she put you in a villa you didn't want to be in.
So now
We're kind of the same.
They're going back and forth, and they're battling on technicalities of who's ungrateful more by comparison in given circumstances, and it's not something that you can compare apples and apples with.
They're bickering all the way up to the hostess to get their table.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The bartender had to come over mid-argument and let them know, hey, by the way, your table's ready, I guess, if you guys want to head over that way. They did not stop arguing and bickering all the way over to the hostess, who then seated them, and they continued going and still did not stop.
The way I cackled when the hostess got Lisa's information for the reservation, and then Lisa immediately went back to arguing with Bronwyn.
Yeah, same breath.
One breath, yeah. No breaths were taken in between.
Yeah, no breaks in the conversation, in the sentence that was happening here. the problem that Lisa has is that she does things to be petty, and then she will never admit to the pettiness. And that's the problem. Because now what you have is Bronwyn is calling Lisa out on being petty by bunking her with Whitney and Angie.
And Lisa's like, what do you mean?
And Lisa's like, I don't even know where you would come up with an accusation like that. This unfounded claim that you have. And it's like, there's plenty of reason why. And I get it, but I'm just letting you know, yeah, if your goal was to upset me, mission accomplished, Lisa. I'm upset.
What did she want as a resolution?
Well, that was the part that got confusing. And I think we've already experienced this too, when Angie was met with trying to apologize to Bronwyn, where all Bronwyn wanted was an apology. And then when Angie gave her an apology, that wasn't good enough. It didn't count. That wasn't authentic. So I feel like Bronwyn has kind of that as an issue. Maybe that's something to look into and work on a little bit, of if you're telling people, hey, this is what would resolve this for me, and then you're also shutting down any opportunity for them to actually deliver on that, that makes it really hard to find a resolution.
We're going to have to keep an eye on her and see if that's a pattern that continues. Unfortunately, as soon as they get to dinner and they all look at their seat, Angie finds a bag. It's
a gift for Angie. Oh, a specific gift for Angie, but it's Meredith Marks branded. So
it's a merch moment.
Oh, that's probably a bad omen, I think, for Angie. She knew something was wrong, especially as soon as she takes a quick little peek into the bag and she recognizes, yes, this is my gift to Meredith from her bat mitzvah.
It was very hard to follow the conversation from here.
They flashed back to the Breakfast at Tiffany's argument, where Meredith and Angie, when they argue, they tend to fall into kind of a who's on first sort of Abbott and Costello routine. It's very difficult to follow. They're speaking in double negatives. They're repeating phrases back to each other.
They just keep asking questions, too, because this starts out with Meredith saying, I'm returning the gift that you gave to me because I was told that you wanted it back.
Who told you that I wanted it back?
Someone said that you wanted it back.
I was told that you wanted it back.
And that's the fight, but it goes for 4 or 5 more rounds.
And different degrees of, where did you get this information? Who told you I wanted it back?
I never said that I wanted it back.
Yeah, who's saying that they want stuff back? Who wants things back? Baby got back. Baby come back. I want it that way.
That is finally broken up by Britani, who tries to insert herself into the fight.
Oh, Britani.
Wrong move.
Chiming in. This is a problem. But then also Angie kind of goes a little too far and she throws the shampoo bottles at Britani, which, I mean, she's got bad hair, but she doesn't deserve to have shampoo bottles thrown at her.
Angie's getting a little aggressive.
A little bit.
We had her kick a chair earlier this season. She threw a napkin. That wasn't, going to hurt anyone too much. But the shampoo bottles.
She's trying to say that she didn't realize that the bag was upside down. I think that that's an excuse after the fact. You still threw the bag at Britani. So to have the contents dump out over her plate.
She let go of the bag midair.
You threw it. That's what happened. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if the bag's up, down, left, or right. You threw it.
Who left with the bottles? I would take them. That's expensive shampoo and conditioner.
As long as you're checking it. Yeah, it's not going to get through security otherwise.
There's a lot of disagreement about exactly what happened at the bat mitzvah that led to Angie getting thrown out.
And this is my issue with the franchise right now. So this is what we were talking about earlier, was it's very difficult. There's too many people who are trying to fight and jump into this fight, but then there are people who are trying to actively be involved in the fight and referee at the same time. Angie is fighting with Meredith. She's fighting with Britani. And then Lisa is jumping in to defend. And then she's trying to tell Lisa, hey, you're not allowed to jump in on this. Stay out of this. You can't be actively involved in it. If anybody's going to be the referee, it's got to be Heather. Heather doesn't have a horse in this race.
Or a storyline this season.
Yeah. So you need to jump in if you're going to do that as a referee, as an impartial judge. That's the type of person. Whitney, Heather, those would be the people who you would need to tag in on that. So for Angie, she's kind of overstepping a little bit here, and I think that's the issue.
She's also continuing to tell a very different story than what actually happened. There's a history of slut shaming here. It wasn't just one comment that was made at the bat mitzvah. This goes all the way back to the episode where Angie brings the bottle of wine over to Brittany's house when they're having the church gathering.
We were seeing flashbacks to the Milwaukee trip. There was a bunch of facts, documentation that was being thrown around, though. So then that was where Heather was chiming in on a couple of things, too. There was a few incidences where Brittany was showing off lingerie that the Osmond had purchased for her, even though they're not banging, allegedly.
I believe that they're not anymore.
I believe they're not anymore.
I think that happens from time to time in their relationship.
But I also would take Bronwyn's statement as fact of people don't buy you crotchless panties because they're not fucking you. Right? I mean...
Seems accurate.
That's not really a gift that's suitable for a bat mitzvah. If that's what we're getting at.
Why can't we just speak in fact? That's what Lisa's upset about. She just wants truth.
I don't think Lisa wants truth. I don't think she's ready for that.
She does when it's other people's fights, just not her own.
Not hers. She doesn't want any truth coming her way. Not too much. I think she does like a little bit of truth, but not a lot. Not all of it.
And somehow Meredith finds it in to start fighting with Angie now, or at least to take over the conversation from Brittany. It's no longer a Brittany-Angie fight. Now it's a Meredith-Angie fight.
Well, I think it started as a Meredith-Angie fight because it was Angie discovering the return of the bat mitzvah gift.
Yeah, but it didn't go anywhere. It turned into Brittany being involved because she tried to make it about her.
She tried.
And she hasn't had the realization yet that there's an A team and a B team.
And she's like a C or a D.
Yeah, she falls below that.
Way below.
She just can never keep up in these fights. And the attention gets shifted to somebody else. And that's where we're at.
Unfortunately, it is their waiter, Carlos, who is trying to take their dinner order and fighting for his life in the process. He's offering up drinks. I don't think anybody else needs any other drinks. Maybe we should not be offering drinks.
Heather ordered shots for the table.
Yes, she did. While he's there trying to get their orders, Brittany is yelling porn star tits at the top of her lungs across the table. And this man is just trying to do his job. God bless him.
The people at this resort have to hate them already. They've been here for what, 6 hours?
Maybe. Yeah, this is the first day.
That does allow them a moment to calm down a little bit.
It does give us a natural point to kind of reset. We're getting back to the original Angie and Meredith conversation that started this whole blow up.
And it never really reignites to where it was previously before Carlos approached the table.
Correct. Yes. And I think they both had a moment of kind of vulnerability and honesty that was there because Angie was basically letting Meredith know, I had the best intentions of attending your bat mitzvah. I was looking for a path forward. I wanted us to grow our relationship. Meredith was also being honest with, that's not how I wanted the evening to end. I'm sorry that was the reaction that I had. It was a very spontaneous reaction based on the information that I had available to me. So I feel like they both kind of found kind of that middle ground where you can mediate and then just kind of apologize and move forward.
I will say, I don't think that it was blindsiding you to kick you out of a formal and religious event in which you were screaming that somebody looked like a slut.
To be fair, she never said slut. A lot of people filled in the blanks, and then they start putting that word in Angie's mouth. She hasn't had it since 1990, according to her.
High body count hair.
High body count hair is different. That's not calling
She
someone
was
a
yelling
slut.
high body count repeatedly.
High body count everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean slut.
No, and the truth of the fact is revealed by Bronwyn because she heard Brittany start the whole thing. Brittany was the one who called Angie slutty before they even got inside the bat mitzvah building.
That's the interesting part for me, is that Brittany likes to start fights, but she doesn't like when other people end fights. So if you're going to Angie and you're going to start picking at her, and then she comes for you and you're not ready for that, that's on you.
I think that's going to happen to Britani more and more this season. That's my prediction.
Yeah, very much so.
We end on a positive note because Angie and Meredith have kind of squashed things. They're ready to move forward together.
It's the apology vibe.
Yeah.
And we just get to kind of soak in that until next week.
Next episode, the Mexico trip continues with the ladies on a yacht excursion. Lisa updates the group on life with John and Henry. Britani takes offense at the lack of enthusiasm over her last announcement. Bronwyn reveals dark truths about her marriage and is surprised by Heather's grace and Lisa's lack of support.
See, that's the friendship that we're waiting to kind of have percolate a little bit more here is going to be Bronwyn and Heather. Because once they start jiving, then Heather's going to spill some dirt on Lisa to Bronwyn. And then Bronwyn's going to have ammo for whatever she needs to go after.
I need that to happen because I'm starting to question why Heather is even here.
She's still lurking. She's behind the scenes for a lot of different things this season, which they're not attributing anything to publicly yet. But I feel
she's a puppet master.
She's kind of, she's orchestrating a lot of different things right now.
Some quick announcements before we go. You can join us over on our Patreon at patreon.com/survivingpod for a bunch of bonus content. There are hundreds of episodes for you to listen to over there. And memberships are on sale through Christmas.
If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. I know Carly loves when we talk about that. Smashing buttons.
You're in rare form.
We're already over 850 subscribers on our road to 1,000. That's our next goal. And don't forget, we're going to be recapping the new season of The Traitors starting January 9th. Well, that's when the episode drops. I guess we'll have to figure out when the podcast is going to drop for that.
Figure out what our schedule is going to be, but I'm very excited about that. We are huge fans of The Traitors, and this is going to be very, very fun. Maybe we'll talk about who's on the cast next week.
Yeah, we'll be talking strategies and assessing what's going on here. But if you love all the drama of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it's basically the same thing. There's some housewives involved, too.
There is every season.
So it's something to check out, something to keep an eye out for. But you'll start seeing those episodes pop up here in the new year.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.
To get people excited about Boost Mobile's new nationwide 5G network, we're offering unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month.
Forever.
Even if you have a baby.
Even if your baby has a baby.
Even if you grow old and wrinkly and you start repeating yourself.
Even if you start repeating yourself.
Even if you're on your deathbed and you need to make one last call.
Or text.
Right, or text. The long-lost son you abandoned at birth.
You'll still get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile.
Forever!
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Forever!
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.